So one of the biggest things that we need to be aware of is, do we have control over our money? Do we know what to do with the money once we get it? Sometimes we make money and we just want to go and just spend it and splurge it all over everything, and we have no control. So you need to ask yourself, do you have control over the money that you're making? Our money should not be a burden. It should be something to help us to get the things we need and to do the things that we want to do. So you have to ask yourself, do you have control over your money? Everybody, Milton Man on a Mission. Thanks so much for joining the channel today. Hope everybody's doing well. So excited to be here today. Just wanted to come in today to share some things about financial responsibility. As y'all know, I was laid off for a fire 4 months ago, and one of the things that I had to do immediately was to see where I was financially, to make sure that we were going to be okay. And that comes with financial responsibility that you've learned over the years that helps you in case you get into a situation like this. So I want to talk about that a little bit today, about being financially responsible when situations happen. So again, Milton the Man on a Mission. Hey, welcome to the channel. Thanks so much. If you have time, please like, comment, and share this video so that we can continue to build and grow this channel, so that we can share these positive messages. Thank you all so much for all the comments we've been getting on the last few videos, because I was not aware, again, that there were so many people that were experiencing the same thing that I was, and being fired or laid off from a job. And that's something we all need to be mindful of. Things happen, and sometimes they're out of our control, but you still have to go forward. So I want to talk about that a little bit today. So one of the things that you need to begin with is to look at, are you responsible with the money that you have? Because we all know there are days or times when financial things happen or emergencies happen, and sometimes we're prepared and sometimes we're not. So that's something we want to do better at handling, being prepared for situations. Like me being prepared for being fired. Was I prepared? Was I ready to deal with it? Could I go on until something else came? So we're going to talk about that. So first thing you need to understand is, what is your relationship with money? What do you feel about money? What do you think about money? How does money make you feel? How does money make you act? What is your relationship with money? To begin that, you need to understand, when were you first introduced to money? When did you first realize what money was? What you could do with it or what you couldn't do with it? So I'll just start. For me, I realized what money was in high school, because I grew up in a family where everything was quiet. We didn't talk about money at the tables and stuff like that. That's something my parents did by themselves. So I understood that money was tight, or money was limited, and you could only do what you could with it. So my father was one who did not splurge, did not buy things he couldn't pay for immediately or as soon as possible. He was not going to buy anything that he thought was too high or that would take him a long time to pay for, because he felt like that wasn't responsible. Because he didn't want to accrue all his debt. He got 3 kids and a wife to feed. So spending money wisely was at the forefront of his mind. He was taught to save, don't live above your means, and to be financially responsible. So my father was one, like I said, if he couldn't pay cash for it, or couldn't make a payment arrangement to take care of it in less than a month, other than a house, he wasn't getting it. He wasn't going to get it. He was going to pay cash for it. So I learned at an early age to save money and to be financially responsible, because you never know what may happen. A lot of people used to talk about allowances, kids getting allowances. That's their first experience with money. I didn't get an allowance. So I didn't learn what an allowance was until I got to college, because we didn't get allowances. I mean, the things that kids get money for, as far as cleaning up their rooms, making good grades, mowing the yard, taking the garbage out, that didn't require money. That was just something you did because you were told to do it. You didn't get paid for that. So I didn't experience money, like I said, until my high school years, when my father, watching him manage the house, manage the money, and to make sure that we had everything that we need, being financially responsible with the money that he had. So the question to you is, when were you first introduced to money? When were you first introduced to money? And was that a good feeling? Was that a bad feeling? Was it something that made you just rethink what you thought about money? Put that in the conversation below so we can talk about that. But like I said, my first experience was we didn't spend money unless you had it. You didn't make debt. You didn't create all these bills and things like that just to keep up with the Joneses. That did not happen in my father's household. If he couldn't pay for it, he wasn't going to get it. So I learned at an early age to be very responsible with money. Whatever you make, you save a certain percent of it so that if a rainy day came, you would have some money. So when I found myself fired 4 months ago, I just reverted back to thinking, okay, I was taught early to save, not to buy a whole lot of unnecessary things, don't have a whole lot of debt. So I've been okay. Well, my wife and I, we've been okay these last 4 months because we did that. We were financially responsible, saying, hey, look, we're making money, put this up, save this, and do this so that in case a rainy day comes, you'll be okay. So a rainy day has come, and we're able to look back over some of the principles that we learned at an early age about money, saving, putting up, and just spending wisely. So some of you need to ask yourself a question. Are you responsible with your money? But you need to begin that conversation with, when did you first learn about money? Childhood, teenage years, adulthood. And are you okay with where you are today with your money? What changes do you need to make? What are the things that are stopping you from being financially responsible? Is it some traumatic experience that happened growing up where you guys lost all your money, or you had to work as a teenager in high school, but you couldn't keep that money? You had to give it to your parents in order to help the household, and did that create a traumatic experience where you felt like you couldn't have any money? You could never keep money because everything you made, you had to give to someone else. And a lot of people who feel like that, I'm just speaking for me, feel like every time you make money, you need to go buy yourself something because you can't hold on to it anyway. So you want to get some satisfaction out of the money you make. Now, I'll tell anybody, if you make money, you make a living, you should enjoy some of the things that you want out of life because you've worked hard, you put in the time, you put in the hours, and you made the money, and you should enjoy some things out of this life. But you still need to be financially responsible about that. Just because you made it and you feel like you need it doesn't mean you need to go out and splurge or overdo something to put yourself in a bind. So when you come back and look and you say, man, I spent $2,500 this weekend on nothing. But I deserve it because that's what I wanted to do. That's fine. But think about later. So when the day comes and you need that $2,500 and you're like, well, I had $2,500, but I don't know where it is. You know where it is. You splurged it on something in the moment that you thought you needed, but you really didn't need it. You just wanted the enjoyment out of it, which is fine again, but you have to be financially responsible. Just because you can doesn't mean you always need to do that. So look at your relationship with money. Think about the good, the bad, the areas where you need to improve. If it's saving, if it's budgeting, whatever it is, find out where you are in your money journey. Find out what got you to the place where you are, and let's begin working on that so you can start building and saving money. So one of the first things that I did once I got fired was, again, like I said, to look at our money situation and that relationship with money that I had and that we had for our household. So I want to share a couple of things that I looked at as I began to process going forward. So one of the habits that a lot of people have, and I had it a little while, but I let it go a while ago, is when you get your money, what do you do? When you get your check or however you get paid, what do you do with that money? And a lot of people say, well, I pay all my bills, then I enjoy myself, and whatever's left, I'll save. Okay, that's one way to approach it. You can do that if you want to. But you have to look at how you building, saving, and building wealth and a solid foundation if you continue to do that. So every check you get, first thing you do, you go pay your bills. And you may have accumulated some bills that are sky high. and they take 90 or 95% of your paycheck. So you don't have anything to say. So one of the things my father taught us was to always live within your means. So in order to do that, let's just say you make $100,000. You don't need to live $100,000 lifestyle. You need to scale that back so that you can save some money. Not saying you need to live bad or live really poor or cheap or nothing like that. I'm just saying you need to scale it back and live reasonably, responsibly. So he always taught us to save some money first. So you take that first 10%, 20%, whatever you want percent-wise, and you will save that. No questions asked. Every month, that's the bill that you paid. And that bill was paid to you. You pay yourself first every single month, regardless. You pay yourself, because then you're building your wealth. You're building up some money. You're building up some cushions. You're building up some financial stability. Just in case a rainy day happens when somebody decides they want to fire you all of a sudden, you've got some money to continue living. So just think about that. First thing you need to do is pay yourself. And once you start paying yourself, you'll see where your money's going. Because then you'll understand, okay, if I pay myself 20% of my salary each month, this is all I have left. So I need to live within my means with this to make sure that I'm not overstressing and overdoing something and we come up short. Because you're not going to touch this money you put up. That money is in a vault. It's locked up. You can't touch it because that money is set aside for a specific reason. So the first thing you do, pay yourself first. And the second thing you need to do, look at the debt that you have. Look at the debt that you've created and ask yourself, what is this? How did I create this debt? And how am I going to get out of this debt? Because you don't want these unnecessary expenses lingering over your head because of some decisions you made while you were working that you got excited about, that you felt like you need to go spend this money on this. Now you got it. And you have the debt. So you got to figure out, look at the debt that I have and figure out how to get through this. What am I going to do to knock this debt down? Do I need to sell the product I bought? Do I need to give it back? Whatever it takes, you need to try to eliminate as much debt as you can in your household so that you can breathe, you can enjoy life. You're not overwhelmed by the debt that's sitting in your head all day long. So you need to figure out, what do I need to do to drop down this debt? And the next thing, spending. What are your spending habits? What do you spend your money on? Is it stuff that's going to be meaningful? Is it stuff that's going to help you to grow? Is it stuff that's just going to give you excitement in the moment and you just are excited and you're like, well, I'm going to keep doing this every month because it brings me joy? Like I said, I'm not telling anybody not to live their life. You only get one. Enjoy it. But be financially responsible. What are you spending your money on? House payment, car payment, insurance, food, entertainment. Look at your expenses. Make sure those expenses are lining up with the money that you're making. Make sure you're able to take care of those expenses. If not, you need to reassess things. You need to scale back. You need to scale back and think about, what are you spending your money on? And if that's not working for you, then you need to change that. You need to go in and say, this is not working. Reassess your spending habits, your spending needs, and say, I need to change this plan. We need to change this plan to make sure this is something that's suitable and doable for us so that we're financially responsible. Like again, I said when I started, what is that relationship that you have with your money? Is it, you come to me money, I give you out. You come to me money, I continue to give you out. Find out the root cause of the habits that you have. Is it something that happened when you were young and now you think you need to spend everything you get? That's the only way you're going to enjoy the money you have? Is it where you're financially responsible, where it's like, I'm so frugal that I'm not going to spend what I don't have to spend? I'm going to take care of myself. Or are you just at the point where you're just totally broke? You have no control over your money. Money is controlling you. You work to make some money so that you can continue to be able to survive. So you have to look at that relationship with money because it's so important. So you have to look at all that. So let me get my notes. So the next thing that you need to realize, once you've done all of that, is, do you care? That's a hard statement. Do you even care about the money that you have? Or is it like, I make money, I live my life, whatever. I don't know, if I'm short, I'll just wait till my check comes next week. I'm going to be all right. I really don't care. I'm just going to enjoy life. I'm just going to enjoy this money, and I'm just going to keep going. I don't care. How long do you think that's going to last before that crashes? How long do you think you can keep not caring about being responsible for the money that you receive? It's not going to last too long. After a while, it's going to get old. It's going to stop. It's going to dry up. And you're going to wonder, why am I in this situation? So you need to be very mindful. So I wanted to talk to you today real quick, like I said, about being responsible with your money and what's the relationship that you have with your money. It's so important to go back and look at, what is that relationship that I have with my money? Where did it start? And how did it steer me and guide me through life when it comes to money? Did it make me more responsible? Did it put me in a state where I don't care? Did it put me where it's like, I live paycheck to paycheck because I want to enjoy life to the fullest, and whatever happens, happens. Either road you choose, you need to understand the consequences at the end of each one. So you have to think wisely when it comes to being responsible for your money. Because if I hadn't, or we had decided a long time ago to start saving money, putting money up, this would be a bad experience right now that we're experiencing, being out of work for 4 months. We would be really stressed, overwhelmed, and pulling out what little hair I got left in my head. But those financial principles that you learn at an early age or sometime in your life will help you to get through times like this. So just think about it. What is that relationship with money? And we could talk more about this, but I just wanted to get that out of my thoughts before I forgot it. And I just wanted to talk about just being responsible with your money, and what does that relationship look like when it comes to your money. So, Milton, man on a mission. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and share. Let's build this community. Let's continue to talk. Let's have these open conversations, because we're helping each other. We are helping each other to become more financially responsible, to become stronger, to grow, to go in the directions that we want to go in. So let's keep this chat going. Take care and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.